May Pundak and Dr. Rula Hardal, welcome to #Peace Day.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to ask you both, please. I'd love the audience to understand your journeys, individual journeys, towards the creation of a land for all. May Pundak, can we please start with you?
Thank you, Jeremy. It's an honor and pleasure to be together today. I will say that we are right now, it feels in many ways that we are the furthest we've been away from peace. And maybe just because of that, we're also the closest we've ever been to peace. And so I think that this day is exceptionally important this year. And within that, we are sitting in a very, very, very catastrophic moment for Israelis and Palestinians. And my personal journey to this work is exactly around my personal story of being an Israeli here. I was a peace activist my entire life. I've been fighting against the occupation. I'm a human rights lawyer by training. And I had the opportunity to live a few years abroad in the United States. And I had my first son born there. And coming back to Israel to raise my family in my home, in my only home, which is Israel, it was very, very clear to me that there's no sustainable future for him here without solving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, without ending the occupation, without presenting a viable future and vision for us in our homeland. And that's something that we Israelis and Palestinians have been deprived from for a very, very long time. Having this compass or having this vision or having this future picture that can actually galvanize the hope and believe that things can change and that we deserve a safe and equal future in our homeland. And so for me, kind of pivoting towards the work of political vision was a real personal need of doing everything I can in order to guarantee that me and my family have a future here, and one that doesn't come at the expense of Rula and her family and the Palestinian people, not only because it's the just and right thing to do, but also because it's the only way for me to live here. Until Rula won't be safe, I will never be safe. So the work of A Land for All was really focusing on hope and vision in order to create and get the change that we need and deserve.
Thank you, May. I'd like to ask Dr. Rula Hardal, welcome again to #Peace Day. And I would like to ask you about your journey to the point where you met May. Tell us about your life.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Well, it's a longer story, but I will try to highlight a few points. I'm a Palestinian citizen of Israel, and the main reason that I became much more involved in A Land for All is actually the new political development since October 7th. October 7th itself and what happened there. And later on, that continues until today. The very crucial war against the Palestinian people, and not only in Gaza, mainly in Gaza, but against all Palestinian people in historic Palestine, from the Jordan to the river. I thought that, and being, a scholar who was dealing during the last maybe 15 years in these topics, teaching about that, searching the conflict and other issues related to the conflict, Zionism, the National Palestinian Movement, and so on, I thought that the most important thing that I can do after the break of this war is to advocate actively, not only academically, for solving this conflict and changing the reality. And I'm doing that again from my very basic position as a Palestinian in this land. I experienced for the first time in my life, following October 7th, existential fear. I was leaving my apartment in Ramallah to visit my family in the northern part of Israel, or to come to go to my work in Jerusalem or in Tel Aviv with having a small suitcase in my car all day, every day, because I had the thoughts that maybe the situation will be also escalated in the West Bank, and then I won't be able to return to my apartment. So this existential fear, with a combination with the academic background, brought me to this position to, despite the very bad situation, I can recognize with this very negative political development since October 7, I see that there is a narrow, small opportunity to re-emerge the importance of the need of having a political vision and solving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
Thank you, Rula. Thank you. Can I ask you both now, okay, at a land for all, what is the mission?
Well, the mission of A Land for All is to become the prominent political vision and logic and paradigm of how to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We believe that this crisis, catastrophe we're in, holds a slight, as well as said, opportunity. And that opportunity demands us to have a damn good political vision on the table. And the political vision needs to be pragmatic. It needs to be sustainable. It needs to be realistic. It needs to be based on values and the needs of both Israelis and Palestinians. And so what A Land for All is, we are a movement, a joint movement, cross-border of Israelis and Palestinians who advocate for a just, equal, shared political vision that was co-created by Israelis and Palestinians, that offer an updated version of what we know as the classic two-state solution, or a non-binary solution that we haven't yet heard, that is an updated, relevant version. And we call it two states, one homeland. In just a few sentences, what we mean is that there will be two states, two independent sovereign states, Israel and Palestine, but the land is shared. The land is shared. And so there's also what we call a superstructure or shared institutions, or some would say a confederation model of shared institutions that are co-created by Israelis and Palestinians to take care of the things that must be shared today between Israelis and Palestinians, and in many ways already are, and are the only way for us to sustain peace and justice in this land, meaning economy on certain levels, meaning climate change, meaning water. And if we try to say it in a different way, we would say that we are trying to offer a political vision that moves away from segregation and superiority and separation, which hasn't proved itself anywhere around the world, learning from the lessons and mistakes that were done, and offering a new version that is based on more an integration model, that yes, there is political separation and rights for self-determination in two states, sovereign states, but we understand that no one is going anywhere. And at this point, the interdependency between Israel and Palestine and Israelis and Palestinians need a political program that will allow that to create a sustainable future. And so the mission is making this the most prominent vision on the table when we think about the future of Israelis and Palestinians, moving away from segregation into understanding the interdependency and shared future.
Wow. Well, we wish you the very best with that, both of you, and to all of your teams at A Land for All. Dr. Rula, what would you like to add to that? Tell us, your sort of vision, on top of what May's just said for A Land for All.
Yeah, we start actually from acknowledging, from not starting to speak immediately about the practicalities of the political solution itself. We start from very important, or the agreement of Palestinians and Israelis about very important values and principles of the right of belonging to this place. The agreement that we have in Israel-Palestine, in this place, two national groups, we have a reality of binationalism. And we need to acknowledge that. We need also to acknowledge the history, the collective memory, and the traumas of both people. And we need to start speaking about accepting this binational reality and be reconciled with it before speaking about the form of the political solution itself. Meanwhile, we do believe that the majority of the Palestinians and the Israelis on the ground, they still need their collective right of self-determination. And that's why we need two states. But we cannot ignore the reality that developed during the last 7 decades that is interrelated between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And that's why we add another layer for this solution. It's not enough to speak about two states. We need something integrative. We need to have a real shift in our minds when we think about solving the situation between the Israelis and the Palestinians. We know it's difficult, but we can imagine it. We can see it. And that's why we are trying also to encourage other people in the world and also here in Israel and in Palestine to imagine that we can solve this conflict by going out from these boxes that we are located in since many years of the zero-sum game or the binary way of thinking when we think about the future of the Israelis and the Palestinians.
I think that what we're trying to advocate for is not only a vision that we've created with thousands of Israelis and Palestinians for thousands of hours, really trying to unpack the classic deadlocks and offer a solution that can work, offer a two-state solution that can work, but also offer a new compass that will show us and guide us towards the change that we need. And that compass is very much about interdependency and partnership and shared interest, and not about segregation and complete separation, which we understand is such a maybe perhaps need for so many people today, but it's not what's going to ensure safety and a future and a just future and life for our people.
Well, finally, how can people support you? Where can they find information, and what kind of support do you both need?
Well, maybe I can start and Mike can complete that. First of all, you can visit our website and you can read more about the political vision itself. You can agree with it. You are welcome to discuss it with us. We are now starting a very important challenge to elaborate the whole political vision itself, to refine it, to develop it, and also to try to transfer this knowledge and this vision into policies, to be much more accurate in imagining the future, but also the present. We need you also to support all efforts that are done in the world to stop the war. We need, first of all, to stop the war in order to be able to continue to exist here and to speak about any solution and about any different future. And you can trust us that we are doing our work here on the ground. But we need your support in your places where you live, with your governments, with your influencers, with the influence and impact and power that each one of you can have by himself or can practice on others. And yes, we are, we need for this work a lot of resources in terms of not only support and emotional support and practical support, but also financial support.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rula. And May, finally, perhaps you can give us some of the exact locations and names of those locations where people can go to. And if there's anything else that you'd like to add, for those, and of course, the world is interested in this issue. Everyone cares about this issue. So please, if you could just give us the exact locations where we go to, that'd be great. Thank you.
So first of all, I would say that, as Willa said, stopping the war is number one. It's very difficult to talk about any kind of day after while the war continues and the atrocities continue. I think that what we are trying to do is to support the efforts of stopping the war by offering a vision, by offering a future. And so for us, the need is, of course, financial support, of course, writing about us, getting the word out. What we hear today from Israel-Palestine is very much the binary that we are used to of either or. What we need to hear are these kind of voices, are these kind of leaders who are offering an alternative paradigm of Israelis and Palestinians working together, a new peace camp that is based on this new understanding that we are stuck together. And so we need everyone to internalize this idea, this new updated version of peace and what peace can look like, and start talking about it and elaborating on it and discussing it and inviting these voices into decision-making places so that it becomes reality. And to be more specific, our website is www.alandforall.org. We are very, very happy for you to come and write to us and help us and support us. Our Instagram is 2 states, 1 homeland, which is kind of the tagline of our vision. 2 states, 2, the number 2 states, 1, the number 1 homeland, all in one word. And we encourage you all to really bring this idea forward and not give up on the hope and understanding that this is the time, this war, this catastrophe should be the beginning of the end, should be the last war between Israel and Palestine, should be the beginning of the end of the conflict. And for that, as Rula said, we are doing everything we can in Israel and Palestine, but we cannot do it alone. We need everyone to commit to it right now and double down on the efforts right now.
May Pundak, Dr. Rula Hardal, we wish you the very best on your journey to create a land for all. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.